What's up, guys? It's the Minted Caliber here. I am dipping on some Grizzly Long Cut Dark Select. And what are you vaping on, babe?
U-turn berry crunch mixed with blueberry CBD.
Nice. That blueberry yum yum.
Yeah.
Alright, but anyways, guys, so we're actually, well, she's going to mainly do all the talking. But we're going to come talk about how we actually met. So, strap
Yeah.
yourselves in, boys and girls, because this is going to be one hellacious of a ride.
Kinda, yeah. Um,
There's no kind of about it.
there's no. It's a messed up story, okay? It's no matter how you look at it, it's a little bit of a messed up story, and you're gonna end up learning a little bit about me in the backstoryness, which not a lot of people know a lot about anywhere. Um, well, they do on you now, but those people probably forgot by now. Um, Where's my train of thought going? It's leaving without me.
Starting with the beginning of April.
Right! So, the beginning of April, I downloaded an app called YouNow. Because I was bored. And I started, creeping around in there. I met someone named Rico and someone named Lizzie. Rico, I'm not going to go into the backstory of Rico. Fuck it.
That's another story for another day.
Right. I'm fidgeting. Where's my fidget spinners are on the wall. They're not being used for what they were supposed to be.
Lizzie.
So I'm getting there. My God, I'm recollecting my thoughts. Chill.
I'm trying to help.
I know. It's been a long day. Okay, it's been a really long day.
Oh, I feel you on that one. Woke up at 5 a.m. So
I woke up at 6 a.m. my time. We woke up at the same time, except I dozed off for a little bit this morning. So through Rico, I met this little fucker over here. And honestly, first impression, I thought he was a self-absorbed prick. And I thought he was an asshole. And he is an asshole.
but
Everyone
not
knows it.
self-absorbed.
Not always. Not always. Most of the time, you're not. Sometimes you get a little bit, but everyone does. So
It's a healthy thing to honestly be. It's always healthy to be selfish sometimes.
yes, it is. Also, I had a lot of influence from Lizzie, because she also thought you were a prick. She thought you were a prick more than I did. But so now we have the rough idea of how I came to communications with someone in Louisiana, roughly. So now you need a little bit of backstory on me, and this is where things get a little messy.
Well, we shouldn't jump into that just yet because we also have to explain my side with the whole Cassie situation. And the fact of the matter,
I will get there. I have a pattern of
yeah.
good.
Well, I could tell that side of it.
You will tell that the full Cassie side of it, but let me just there's a timeline here.
Okay.
So this is where things get messy though. So come April of this year, I was in a committed relationship with my now ex-fiance of 3 years. And I believe we broke up in May. Yeah, it was May. We broke up in May. We broke up on a little bit after Mother's Day. How that situation goes is it was kind of a committed relationship, and I say kind of. Basically what happened was about a year and a half into our relationship, I became physically unable to have regular sexual activity. So, as you can imagine, that put a little bit of strain on the relationship, but you think that the male in the relationship would work with the female who's having these medical issues, and they could sort things out if they were in a typically healthy relationship. Apparently I wasn't in one, and I didn't realize it for a while. So it got to the point where my ex and I, whose name on here is Des Marksman, and his real name is Lucas Chester Carter Blackburn.
One hell of a name.
Fun with that. We'll get to that later. But so it got to a point where we were constantly fighting, and he was very forceful in getting sexual activity out of me, which I found out now is not okay. But pretty much he was very forceful in having sexual activity with me, which was obviously very painful, and I didn't want to do it. But it was whatever. It avoided fighting, so he forced me into having sex with him. Whatever. It's not whatever, but it is whatever.
That's not the point of how we actually met.
I'm getting there. So there's a little bit of a backstory, okay?
I know, but I'm saying like it's whatever because it's not the point to how we actually met.
It's also whatever because you can't get upset about you can get upset about the past, but there's no point in holding on to it with such ferocity that it wrecks your whole life. So it's not whatever, it wasn't okay, but it is whatever because I'm done with it. That's a good explanation for life. So we made an agreement to open up our relationship on his end. When we started this agreement a year and a half into our relationship, I said he could go have only sexual relations with another person. He couldn't have emotional relations with another person. You see where there's some issues here. See, I'm a very jealous person by nature. So doing that was just difficult for me, so I put the no emotion thing. There was actually like a list of rules. He broke all of them. That's fucking besides the point. I had said when we started that if I find someone to have a legitimate emotional connection with, I'm going to date them. Or if there's someone I want to cuddle, I'm going to cuddle them. Pretty much. And he agreed to that. He agreed that was fine. At that point, a year and a half into my relationship, I should have realized if I'm not getting sex out of this person, because I can't, if I'm not getting emotional fulfillment out of this person, and at the time, I was the only financially stable one, what is the point of being with this person? I didn't realize that because blinded by fucking commitment or something, I don't know. So, shit happened, blew up, didn't work, kept not working. Fast forward to April, okay? He's had multiple sexual partners. He's cheated on me in times that we weren't in this open polygamous relationship. Actually, it wasn't polygamous. It was open on one end when he was doing it. So, then we fast forward a little bit. I am a very caring person. When someone comes to me and they want to talk to me or there's something wrong, I could hate them and I'd probably still listen. So, despite the fact that I thought this arrogant prick on the internet was a complete asshole, well, you can fill in that one.
Alright, so, through Rico, I met this girl named Cassie. I mean, her started dating, and how long me and Cassie been dating for?
I don't know, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks at the most. And, towards the end of that 2 weeks, she kept, dodging my calls, dodging my texts, and just so on and so forth. And I was also friends with this Lizzie person, which I didn't know that. She said that shit about me, that she thought I was an arrogant prick. So you know what? Fuck you, Lizzie. But I was venting to her about how I felt. And she was just telling me, oh, I'm being paranoid and that I'm an idiot and whatnot. Needless to say, the next day, Cassie broke up with me. And well, I talked to Terro over here, and Terro kind of became my comforter.
Well, during the end of your relationship with Cassie, when you were talking with Lizzie, I remember you also talking with me and me trying to reassure you that you need to give her space and stuff like that. Stuff that should have theoretically worked. But I mean, Cassie was obviously purposely doing it, so
Yeah. I mean, you see what she did to Fuzzy, so.
yeah, Jesus. Um, so I mean, I remember that and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
So
then you were just kind of trying to keep me calm, and then I had that whole outburst where I was cutting myself, this, that, and the other, and you just kind of didn't get really irate, but like very overprotective.
yeah.
And you're like, show me.
Well, the thing is isn't it like since we touched on that topic, the thing is that I used to cut myself technically. I on occasion still do. You know that's not a surprise to you.
Yeah.
The thing is I've never that's a lot. I've never wanted to die from cutting. I can't say I've never wanted to die, but I've never wanted to die from cutting. And I was always really careful about it. I always made sure the tools I was using was clean. I always made sure I didn't go very deep. That I was in a right state of mind. That like because I did it for emotion control. So when Rico came to me with that, I did the same thing. I was like, "Can you show me?" Because Rico is a fucking idiot, and he was like, "I'm supposed to clean these?" Yes, you dumbass. But whenever someone would come to me, like I said, I'm a very caring person naturally by nature. So when someone comes to me with something like that, it's like, can you show me? Because I want to know how bad it is.
Yeah.
Because if it's bad, chances are I'm going to tell you you need to do something about it, or I can give you first aid tips that can prevent you from going to the hospital, that but can prevent you from needing to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So during the time that stuff was happening with him and Cassie, Lucas and I weren't really talking. I wasn't sleeping at all. Um, Lucas would spend like his days on his PlayStation 4, which he had since he bought it. I'd spend my time between work and you now. He and I didn't really talk. He saw a couple girls a couple times. He slept with our mutual friend during that time period a couple times. Stuff like that. And during the times that I was awake all night, I was either broadcasting on you now, or because he and I started talking first on you now, obviously, and then we got each other's Kick, and then each other's Snapchat, and then
This is a
I
little fucked up
creepily found
story.
him on Facebook at one point. He didn't give me his Facebook or his last name. He gave me his Skype.
Yeah, but
And
that was for
his
very good
Skype.
reason, though. With all the issues I have with people stalking me and shit.
Yeah. Oh, I know. No, I know. But when you gave me your Skype, your last name was on it still. And then I found your Facebook. And I don't remember when you gave me your iMessage, but you gave me your iMessage. And basically,
No,
you
I
gave me
gave
your
you
iMessage.
my iMessage through. I gave you my iMessage after Snapchat and Kick.
Yeah, I know. It went Kick, Snapchat, iMessage, Skype, Facebook.
Yeah.
And so we started FaceTiming because like we just talked, so there was no point in one of us streaming on you now because at the time I had a really bad phone. My computer did not work. I could not get into my computer. I didn't even know where the charger was. Um so I used you now on my phone and it didn't connect very well with his computer when he tried to guest with me. So he and I started FaceTiming, and we'd FaceTime like at nighttime when Lucas was asleep. And we'd just talk about shit, or we'd like watch YouTube videos oppositely, and we would just hang out together because he wasn't sleeping either, and I couldn't fucking sleep. I was on and off of nights at work, and it just wasn't fucking working. Though I just went days without
Can I
sleeping.
interject real quick? What the fuck are you talking about? I still don't sleep half the time. But continue.
Um, so it got to the point where we were like really buddy buddy, and I don't remember how it exactly got brought up, but I like asked him like something. Oh, I do actually remember how it got brought up. He said something about I deserved better from about Lucas. And I said, "Oh, and who could give that to me?" And he said like he made a joke like, "Oh, I could." And I said, "You couldn't handle being my boyfriend." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Could you hurt me?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Could you physically hurt me? Like I'm into BDSM. I like pain. Like you seem like too nice of a person to physically hurt me." He's like, "Nah, I'm good. We're good. I could so do that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So it actually became like a serious conversation about because I vented to him about my relationship with Lucas and about how it was open ended on one side and about basically that it was just going nowhere. And he asked me why I was still there, and I said it was convenient because it was. We had an apartment together, we had a bunch of pets together, our bank accounts were together, our phones were together. We had a fucking marriage date. Everything was together. It would have been it was actually it was really hard separating because I had thought about it so many times. I had said I want to break up with him. Like it just came into my head so much that I could just like go be off on my own without him, but it wouldn't. It was easier to stay. So we actually got into like a serious conversation, and I was like, "Well, would you?" Because I told Lucas a long time ago if I found someone I had a genuine emotional connection with, I'd date them. And he said he would be okay with it. Would you be okay with it? And he's like, yeah, you. I don't
I
remember
honestly
exactly.
didn't care.
Yeah, you were like you were just into it. And I was like, oh my snake yawned. Sorry, that was really cute.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the snake yawn, look it up on YouTube. It's fucking
Seriously,
adorable.
it's so cute. Oh my god, oh I melted. Um, so I had a conversation with Lucas, and I was like, can we do this? And I had it several times. Several times. I asked him, is this okay? Are you sure this is okay? Are you going to be okay with this? And he's like, yeah, sure, it's fine. It's fine, it's okay. I was like, all right, you're sure? And so he and I started dating. Uh, Technically, it became official, like Facebook official, on Mother's Day, which is the day I pierced this side of my lip. But when you looked back at all the messages, it technically started on April 30th. Technically. Because that's when we started talking, and that's like nothing's changed from the time we started talking to now. The only thing that's changed is instead of just him calling me baby girl, I call him babe. Literally, that's all that's really changed.
And she never used to
Um,
call her ex that.
no, I never did. I honestly never did. I literally just yelled his name. If I needed his fucking attention, I just screamed Lucas. And half the time, he couldn't fucking hear me. I digress. Um, so I'm gonna get to the conclusion because obviously I'm not with that person anymore. So he and I dated for a little bit, like officially. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Um, Lucas got really condescending, really malicious because before he could like find girls like that, but as soon as I had someone, he got like overprotective. All of a sudden, he wanted to spend time with me. It's like you don't know what you have until it's gone, pretty much. Like I was talking to a gay manager at work, and he like broke down fucking crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "Seeing you with that guy," and I was like, "He's gay. First off, he is like 30. He's not interested in me, trust me." He's like, yeah, but there's you and can I say your name?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, like, you have Austin and all this, and I'm like, seriously? This is your fucking issue? You said it was okay. And he's like, I know I didn't. He basically just had this fucking, like, mental breakdown at work, which was not the first time it happened. He had to be sent home. I had to finish his fucking job. Again. That's a different story. um,
Well, we don't
but
have to make that a different story. Long story short, he no shows.
pretty much all the fucking time. No shows, has panic attacks at work, can't fucking do his job, just. And because I worked the same place as him, I always took the fucking flack for it. Always. So, he and I are talking the one night, and Lucas sends me a text message. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, you know what? Go have fun with Austin. I thought I was funny. I don't remember what his last fucking line was. I sent him, did you just break up with me? And he's like, so what if I did? I'm not the kind of person you want to break up with over a text message. Especially not when you're in the other fucking room. You want to break up with me over a text message? You better be on the other side of the goddamn fucking world.
Well, we gotta tell the rest of this fucking, like, the rest of this situation, because I was dying fucking laughing.
So, he's in my pocket on FaceTime. And I, like, slam into the room and I'm like, did you just fucking break up with me? He's already crying, okay? He's already, like, he has little bits of tears going down his face. And he's like, so, like, he's like, I don't know. And he just starts, like, rambling. I lose it. I just start screaming at him. It's just 3 years of bent up rage because I took so much shit for this kid. And I call him a kid because he's not a man. I took so much shit for this kid. I fucking moved cities. I freaking shut people out of my life for him. I fucking changed my jobs for him. I fucking put every bit of my anxiety aside to try and deal with his fucking mental health issues. I made myself uncomfortable to be with him. I just lost it because I don't like family, and he had a big family, and I always had to go to these, like, events, and, like, I tried playing sick a few times, and his mom would be like, no, it's okay, you have to come, like, it's fucking Lucas's freaking 3-year-old cousin's birthday party, you need to come. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Just to
I don't
clarify, my
like,
family's not like that.
but, like, I took him insulting my mother, my stepdad, my sister. I took him insulting my parents' dogs. Like, I took so much shit, and I pushed so much of myself aside for this fucking kid. I put myself in debt for this kid. I freaking I lost it. I lost it. And he starts, like, fucking crying. And I screamed at him for, I'm not even kidding you, 3 hours. It got to the point where, like, he had a decorative knife, and he, like, picked it up, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna fucking cut yourself, you fucking pussy. You don't have the fucking balls to cut yourself. I don't think I'd ever actually say that to anyone else. But I lost it. And he's like, no, I don't. He, like, chucked it off to the side. I'm like, see, you're a fucking pussy. Again, I would never actually say that to anyone else. It's not a nice thing to say, but I don't fucking care about this person. Because honestly, he is a fucking pussy. He fucking plays up shit for attention. He fucking all this shit. That's kind of the point, but it's not the point. So I lost it. And finally it got to the point, it's now 7 a.m. It started at 3. We've stopped screaming. I'm, like, sitting in the other room trying to calm down because I don't have that much of an emotional outburst very often. So it was a little jittery. But I felt kind of good after. Basically, I told him, you need to go spend a couple days at your parents' house. I'm fucking done. Like, I'm still too nice of a person to an extent. I didn't want to give him a direct answer, which I know is, like, a bitch thing to do, to leave someone on the hook. I didn't want to give him a direct answer, so I wanted to send him away and basically text it to him. Or, like, collect my thoughts enough.
You should
Have
tell him
him
how you came to that decision.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
But I told him, no matter what my decision is, I don't want to be engaged to you because engagement is about promises. Like, when I look at an engagement, it's not, oh, you're gonna get married, you're gonna join everything together. In my eyes, engagement is a promise. That's all it is. It's the promise to be loyal, to stand by your significant other, to love them no matter what. That's what I see it as. It doesn't have to be a giant ceremony. It doesn't have to be $30,000. An engagement is about the meaning. It's not about the ring. It's not about the wedding. It's not about when you get married. It's the idea behind it that's important, which is why I never really liked marriage, because promises are really easily broken. And I said, no matter what, I don't want to be engaged to you anymore. And he's like, I understand that. He left. He went to his parents' house. And this fucker up here yelled at me for a half an hour about the fact that I need to fucking tell him the truth. And just all this shit. And he was fucking right. I mean, he was right. He's like, you're leaving him on the hook. That's not fair to him. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to you. Hang on. I missed a part. I missed the very important part that made Lucas cry. He was done crying. And when I was going through the I don't want to be engaged to you anymore, and I'm like, no matter what I did, like, something about, like, no matter what I decide, and then he's just like, everything can just go back to normal, like, it'll be fine, like, I don't care, like, you can do whatever. And I was like, no, like, if I don't remember exactly how I phrased this, but he basically, he didn't know Austin was in my pocket. So he basically wanted it to go back to being a closed relationship. He said, I won't fuck around anymore. I just want you back. And I looked at him and went, this may fucking hurt you, but I care about him. And I'm not about to hurt him just to satisfy what you believe your needs are. He fucking cried. He was done crying. He was sort of calm. He just broke, which was really fucking nice. It was nice watching him break.
I was dying laughing. She couldn't hear me because I had my side muted.
Yeah. So I changed my Facebook status, whatever. The biggest problem was I still had 2 months of a lease with him. Wait, May, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, I had like 2 to 3 months of a lease left with him.
Oh, you did forget another thing. How you revenge fucked your friend.
I haven't. That was after we broke up.
Oh, it was? I can't remember if it was after or before.
So after we broke up, we tried to be like friends because we still lived together. So, yeah. No, because when you and I started dating, I started sleeping in the living room anyway when I was sleeping, or I'd sleep in the bed during the daytime. It was after we broke up because I don't remember why, but like I had just got new mice. Because Lucas went to go show Sam the mice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So it was after Lucas and I broke up. Because Sam hadn't come over. It was the first time that... No.
It was before right. You two broke up.
You're right, yeah.
Because remember, you sent me a text message on your way home from work, and you sent me a picture of Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he didn't even know about them.
No, he fucking didn't. So, yeah. He invited Sam over, who was someone that we had consensual sex with once. He cheated on me with her once. And then,
Yeah, I thought he cheated on you 3 times with her.
I don't remember. I remember once specifically that he he fucked her a lot of times. But there was once that he lied to me about it, and then I just stopped caring. Which was really interesting.
Which Sam is a whole nother video.
Sam is a whole nother video, but let me just tell you this part of the story, which kind of gives you an idea of what Lucas is like. Because this was before you and I officially started dating.
Mm-hmm.
I came home and Lucas and Sam had taken like a nap together, I guess. And Lucas had scratches down his back.
You
I
told
know
me
what scratches
this.
look like. Yeah, I did tell you this. Um, Lucas had scratches down his back, and I asked, "Are those from Sam?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, so you didn't like?" Because I knew she passed out on the couch, and I knew that they went into the room and took a nap together. I knew that much. I was like, "You didn't like carry her into the room and like she didn't like scratch your back?" Like he's like, "No." I'm like, "Those aren't from Sam." I didn't. I honestly didn't care if they were or not. I just asked, "Are those from Sam?" No, no, no. Here's something I didn't tell you, which is when he told me. So he was attempting to be cute, okay? And I don't know if I was sitting beside him or if I was sitting like on his lap. I don't remember. But he was trying to be cute. And he was like he was basically giving me like false promises. He's like, "I'll tell you anything you want, like anything you want to know, I'll tell you, like complete honesty." And I just like sat up and I was like, "Were the scratches from Sam?"
No, you told me that.
Did I?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Fuck it." I just cute moment over, destroyed. Fuck you. Regardless, the next couple months of my lease were hell. I believe he killed my mice because he was at my house. Like I at some point I made him stay with his parents, and I had two new mice, Ebony and Ivory. They were babies. They shouldn't have died. Um, I came home one day. He was in my apartment, and he left. And then I was on You Now with Austin, and my I hadn't heard or seen my mice, so I took my cage over near my computer and I like went to go play with them because I love them. I love rodents, and they were both laying down side by side, and I was like, okay. Normally they scatter, like they were pretty skittish still, and I don't remember which one died first, but one of them was dead, and the other one was like sleeping next to her, like trying to cuddle her, which was really sad. So I took them both out, and then I went to go put the other one back to deal with the dead one, and it like acted really erratically and like ran around the cage frantically and then hid back under the hide. And then I went to go take her out again to look at her again because like she acted really weird and she was dead. They didn't have any marks on them. They didn't have any like when my mouse Taco had a seizure, one of his eyes like went all little like weird and red. Um, he had red eyes, but it like swelled up a little bit. Like you could tell like when he had a seizure, I think maybe he had a brain aneurysm or something. But he acted erratically before he died too. But there was obvious trauma from inside out. There was no obvious trauma from the inside out. There was no outside trauma that would indicate maybe a cat or like suffocation or anything like that. They just acted like the second one acted erratically and then died, and the first one was still warm and like wasn't hard to move. Like she hadn't been dead very long. Um, the only thing I can think of is that they were fed something that made them die. And I texted Lucas and I was like, "Did you touch my mice?" He's like, "No, why?" And I'm like, "They're both dead." Immediately he was like, "Are you okay? Do you want me to come over?" No.
I love when you make that
No, I
face.
fucking do not. And then we're just gonna hop right along. So he started doing shit to try and disrupt mine and his relationship. Um, his Lucas's new girlfriend at the time did shit, and just a bunch of shit. And then he came home. I say home. He came back to our legally shared apartment, and the one night I don't know if he got kicked out of his girlfriend's house or something, but he came back from Waterloo, Ontario, and he unplugged the Wi-Fi. My phone at the time only worked on Wi-Fi. I didn't have data. I didn't have a calling plan. I don't even think I had a SIM card in it at the time. I only had it on data. My phone was basically a glamorized iPod. He unplugged the Wi-Fi. And no, I did have data. I just couldn't call you
You couldn't
because I
call
was
me
tech.
because I was out of state, out of
Yeah.
country.
Regardless, my phone didn't function properly without Wi-Fi, and he unplugged the Wi-Fi, which turned off our FaceTime call. Because as soon as we were on FaceTime anyway, but as soon as Lucas came in, I started like freaking the fuck out. I was like, I don't want you here. I want you to go to your parents' house. Like, I don't want you here. Can you go spend the night at your parents' house? I didn't know he was coming back that night. He didn't tell me. So he just walked in and caught me off guard, and it basically sent me into a panic and sent my mind into a frenzy. I didn't know how to fucking function. And I tried asking him really nicely, can you go stay at your parents' house for the night? Keep in mind, his parents lived 4 blocks away. It's not that hard to leave. He unplugged the Wi-Fi. And he came into, I'm going to call it my room, even though it was technically his and ours, but my room. And I'm texting him. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck happened to the Wi-Fi. I'm not leaving my room. And he came in and basically started saying a lot of shit and doing a lot of shit and trying to make me feel sorry for him. And just, he knew me for 3 years, which is how I know he did this, and or how I know he knew how to do it. He basically forced me and manipulated me into having sex with him. And then while he was having sex with me, he asked me something and I started like crying, and I don't even remember anymore if he kept going or if he stopped. Um he says he stopped, but I don't remember him doing that. And I remember pushing him away from me. I remember making him leave because like I was just like a wreck. And yeah, after talking to 3 therapists now, um that has been identified as rape, which is not a nice thing. But luckily, I have a very nice support system in Austin. And so you fucking smile.
Because I love you.
I love you too.
But you should mention a part where it kind of broke me down after you told me.
Well, the thing is I didn't identify it as being rape. I didn't identify him forcing me into having sex in a relationship as being rape. I didn't identify him holding me down while I tried to get away when we were in a relationship as rape. I didn't identify, and sometimes I still don't. Sometimes I look at them and go, no, no. And it's because I have the mentality that how could someone weaker than me, because he's physically weaker than me, he's mentally weaker than me, he's emotionally weaker than me, he's a weak person. How could someone like that take advantage of me to the point where I lost control? Like, I didn't have control anymore. This person did. I didn't give them control. They took it from me. And I don't even know where I was going with that. But, so I didn't recognize it as that. So when I initially told Austin, I told him, I cheated on you. And he didn't take that very well. But I mean, we continued to do, like, obviously, but like, we continued to try and work through things. And after having extensive conversations, and again, after talking to after talking to a psychotherapist, who told me that I had dissociation, what is it called? dissociative disorder or something, that I de-associate myself with reality. And he also said, like, because before I went to go see him, I looked up the definitions of marital rape and date rape. Like, I looked up every type of rape and I just read about it. And date rape is described as someone being impaired, whether they're drunk, drugged, mentally impaired, whether they're unconscious. That's all date rape. And marital rape is when you're in a relationship with someone and you feel compelled, or you feel like you have the need to, or you are forced into having sex with a person, or you're in the middle of having sex with them and you tell them to stop and they don't, and you're in a relationship with them. So after speaking to a psychotherapist for a very long time, he kind of forced me to come to the conclusion. He didn't force me. That's me putting blame on someone else. We came to the conclusion together that that is what happened, and that we eventually needed to work forward from that. But after telling you that, we still are working to get past all of it, because it emotionally damaged both of us severely. I mean, why wouldn't it? Regardless of how you look at it, it's
Cat's knocking shit
I
over.
don't even want to know what that was. Something just fell.
We'll check on it afterwards.
Yeah. Regardless, it's still like a breach of trust, and it's because I didn't tell him about it right away. I didn't tell anybody about it except for my therapist. And I don't even consider her. I didn't consider her a person. I considered her just like a wall that I spoke to. Sometimes. So I didn't tell anyone about it, but it's still like a breach of trust destruction there. If you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this went from one end all the way to another end.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make in that is that I know from saying how we met, we're going to get a lot of hate, and especially given the fact that, oh, hey, we're engaged. Our 6-month anniversary is on Monday. Again, I don't find engagement the same thing everyone else does. I find it a commitment and a promise.
I still forgot to put my ring back on. I took a shower this morning, took it off, forgot to put it back on.
Ha!
So I've been ringless all day.
Ha! You're naked. But I don't care if other people don't agree with our relationship, because you know what? Yeah, he is 19 hours away from me by car. But I care about him enough that, first off, I haven't run away. I have a big issue with running away from people, or just like manipulating them into destruction. I care about him enough that I'm willing to go down to Louisiana and go see him and go meet his family and smuggle him over the border. No, legally bring him back here with me. Because we decided we're going to live up here. And I know that he cares about me enough to, well, this goes both ways. We both care about each other enough to work with each other in our issues, as we both got some.
Gosh, I can't wait to go see my guidance counselor Monday. Or not Monday, Tuesday.
You're going on Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, my next therapy appointment's in, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember.
I think my mom's next therapist appointment is November 6th and November 17th.
Regardless, the point I was trying to get at is that I realize we're going to get a lot of backlash for this. I know we are, because we get it all the time.
Take John and Kyle, for example.
People don't like long-distance relationships. They don't like the fact that we've never met in person.
Well, I want to speak on that note real quick, and this is actually common sense here. Doesn't matter whether you know the person in real life or not. If you have an emotional connection with them, try it out.
Yeah.
Don't knock something before you try it.
See, here's the thing is, we both know each other's bad habits and shit like that anyway. We both want, like, we're both on FaceTime or Skype with each other, like, constantly.
Yeah, it's just like being there with
Literally.
you.
But I mean, not a lot would change with physicality. Like, we're around each other enough that we're talking 24/7, that I'm not at work. We're on the phone together.
Or I'm
And
not
that may seem
sleeping.
obsessive. That may seem obsessive, but the point of the matter is if we were living together, that'd be the exact same situation. And yeah, that was just kind of the point I was trying to get at, is that, like, we are working together to do things with each other. I don't know. I kind of ran out of tangents and points because I emotionally
Well, let's not forget this one hilarious moment when Kyle sent Lucas a message saying that you were cheating on Lucas with me when Lucas already knew about it.
Oh my god, I heard that. Oh, it was hilarious. Anyway, you can wrap this up. I've been talking the whole time.
I don't really have too much to say.
What was your first impression of me?
Honestly, I didn't really know you that well, but I did find you were a sweet person.
Yeah,
It's
I'm a
like
sweetheart.
how did I word it on my Facebook post to you? Something along the lines, you're a sweet girl who's been hurt way too many times.
A little bit. I'm a Sour Patch Kid. You got to get past the little soury outside to get to the
Yeah,
sweet.
well, I didn't even reach the sorry outside. I just kind of weaseled my way into your heart. So
You just bit it. You're that person that bites Sour Patch Kids.
I was just like, I just went in full force, and it's like, well, I made my way into her heart, and now we're happy. The
It
sad
was
part is, as you look at some real life relationships, and some real life relationships don't even last as long as me and her's been together.
yeah. Um
And we have a great support group.
yeah.
Beast, Manson, Killer, Motor.
Yeah. Motor will listen. He's not good at talking, but Motor will listen.
Motor's not that talkative though,
No.
but I mean, they've been with us throughout the battle with her ex and everything. And Beast
Yeah.
wants to fucking rip his head off.
A lot of people do.
When he's burning so many bridges. Now keep in
Yeah.
mind the whole rape incident. This isn't the first. She ain't the first person he's done this to.
His best friend, who I'm not gonna use the name of because I actually like respect the dude. His
Yeah.
best friend is
We'll
dating
just call him Joe.
Joe. Uh Joe is dating one of Lucas's exes, and I had brought it because Lucas admitted to it. Before I talked to my therapist, I asked him about it, and I said this, and he's like, I do admit what happened the night I came back from Waterloo is rape. I have the screenshot that says it. And so he admitted, especially that one incident was premeditated and was rape. And I sent that screenshot to his best friend, and he basically told me that he was like really pissed off, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry to bring it up. He's like, no, you don't understand. I stuck up for this kid. I told everyone that he grew up and that he was better and he was getting better and that it was just a mistake. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, he did this to my girlfriend when they were dating. She told me about it like a year later, about how he forced her into having sex with him and how they're in a relationship, so she didn't see anything wrong with it, and about how he was just like relentless about it and basically would just like start having sex with his girlfriend without actually getting consent, and that she wasn't okay with it. And so he's definitely done it more than once. And then one incident that Sam told me about was that they were hanging out, and he basically pinned her down, started like biting her neck, and then started having sex with her. And I mean, at the time I was just angry, so I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, oh yeah, I bet you fucking like that. Which is not the good response to have, but looking at it, and she won't talk to me, person, and I burned that bridge with dynamite. Um,
Actually, I kind of burned the bridge for you because I didn't like her.
yeah, there's that too. I didn't
Well,
really
towards
like
the
her.
end, I didn't like her.
Yeah, she was annoying. But besides the point of her and I's personality conflicts, that didn't really seem right to me. Um, but yeah.
Well, we're approaching about an hour now, so I don't want to be up too late uploading this video. But I mean, it's good that Terro did get out the whole rape incident. That way, she can tell her story, and if there's any other people that who's encountered Lucas, they can come forward and say if the same thing has happened to them.
Yeah.
Because the more people that he's done this to, the more of a chance we actually have of putting him behind bars.
I told his parents, so I mean.
Yeah, she sent a letter. It was,
I did.
and to add insult to injury, she signed her birth name, and then she signed her name with my last name.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be hearing from him no more. Now, see, the night that all this happened, that she came out to me, and you actually forgot to say one thing, is you kind of just kept it to yourself for about 5 months, which I'm not mad at her for that, because
Well, that
she
I
didn't know
know
how I
I
was going
did
to
say that.
react.
I did say I didn't tell anybody
Yeah, you didn't tell anyone except for your therapist,
except for my therapist.
which isn't even a person.
I mean, they're a person, but they're not meant to be like a person that will judge you. They're meant to be someone that was just to talk to you.
Yeah, well, it's sad when therapists are more accepting than churches.
Yeah, that's a different topic.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that.
But no, I did keep it to myself because, again, I viewed it as cheating. I didn't, again, there's still periods of time where I don't view it as rape.
But
Because I feel like I could have done something.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, what's done is done, and I know a lot of you guys say, "Well, why didn't you leave her?" Well, see, here's the thing. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. Taro's sister has fucking big tits. No offense, babe. I'm just gonna say that now. And I did ask her, her sister, for tit pics. Just gonna say it.
Yeah.
So I'm not innocent in this either. I don't put full blame on Terro. I mean, we both made mistakes. But you know what? I forgave her and she forgave me.
Yeah.
Which I broke her sister's trust, but her sister's slowly starting to build up that trust for me again.
Yeah. It's a work in progress. Same here.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's not like your sister's gonna be like, oh well, I'll be friends with you overnight. It doesn't work like that. Although I do have to say one thing on Lucas. He actually.
Can I say something?
Can I say this one last thing? Peace. Okay, you go.
No, go on.
No, you go.
Go on.
Go, little one.
Boop. From an outside perspective, looking at the situation, the act wasn't my fault. Me not telling you is my fault.
But I don't blame you for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I was in the same position you were, I wouldn't know how to tell you.
Yeah.
Although.
Anyway, your turn.
I have to say, for Lucas, he actually took it one step further with her sister. He tried asking her to fuck him.
He didn't try. He did. Over and over again.
Yeah.
He basically begged her to have sex with him while I was sleeping in the other room. Christmas Eve that he spent at my family's house.
Weren't you sick that as well?
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
This was after all the medical stuff happened and I couldn't physically have sex anymore.
Yeah. And I do admit I was wrong, and I do feel bad. I did some shady shit I shouldn't have. but
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Nobody is.
I mean, I make mistakes, and for the longest time, I didn't own up to my mistakes. But now I am,
Yeah.
and it's all because of Terro. You've actually changed me, babe. You really have.
I
You've
didn't do
actually
it on
changed me for the. You know, they say people can't change for the better. Yes, they can. They have to want to, and I wanted to change, but I needed that motivation to change.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, it's coming up on an hour. That I'm using the little Skype clock
Yeah.
for a time. So, anyways, guys, this is the Minty Caliber and Terro signing out.